Community is resiliency. My name is Aaron, and this is the CAR series from the Greater Kansas City Resiliency Network. Okay, not in a car. That was, how I started things out. It's the weekend, it's hot out there. I'm not getting to get in my car and start it just for, the car ambiance thing. So, here in my living room, just been working outside. Got to do a little bit more work out there. But first, I wanted to take a few minutes. I know I had to take a week off because of a medical emergency in the family, but kind of played up to what this is all about. Because, as I said at the beginning, community is resiliency, and vice versa. And this is something that is often overlooked. There's, a lot of people would lump us into like the prepper community and stuff like that. My view is that if you're going to try to isolate yourself out of fear and during an emergency, and oh my goodness, anybody else is a threat, which is what I hear a lot of from that community, then you don't understand how people work. And I'm going to go back to the first person who clued me in on this was actually Robert Evans. He has he's a host of Behind the Bastards, and really I think I want to say it was November, December of 2020. He did an episode that looked at how quote unquote the elites actually contribute to problems in times of crisis. And what it all boiled down to was that the people on the ground, people just living in a neighborhood or something, they're the ones who rescue one another. They're the ones who save one another. I'm sorry, I'm taking off my glasses because I'm seeing that there's a lot of glare from them, so I'm hoping that's less distracting. But there's a lot of the academic literature does support that you look at the fallout from Katrina and stuff, and what you saw in the news was, oh my goodness, people are behaving like animals and stuff, and that was a narrative being put out by specific people that weren't on the ground, who didn't see what was going on. And that was a narrative that everybody heard because the press played that up. People behaving badly is good for impressions. And that was true even in the pre-internet days, if it bleeds, it leads. And so, and in every situation, you have multiple perspectives. And really what we are about, what the GKC Resiliency Network is about, is fostering those ties that make the community stronger. So, and a lot of it is just to, for day-to-day living, just giving everybody more of a safety net. And we have various ways we do this. We promote, people growing some of their own food. We promote people having generators at home as for backup, or solar or something to supplement what comes in off the grid, because there may come a time when suddenly the grid isn't there. And so if you have the resources, it's good to be able to do those kinds of things. In the event of a larger disaster, like a big tornado or something like that, you become kind of an island of stability, which doesn't mean that everything else is not that is completely unstable, but that you have made yourself a node that can connect with a lot of other people to help them out. That's how a community works. That's how a community functions. And we've done a really good job in the past 80 years kind of deconstructing that kind of grassroots rounds up kind of support systems that used to be how things were done. And I have to say, I'm a child of the modern era. I am not saying we need to turn back the clock or anything like that. If it wasn't for Central Air, I would have not survived childhood, literally. Now, if it wasn't for modern medicine, I would be dead. If it wasn't for modern medicine, my partner would be dead. You know, it's not a rejection of modernity or anything like that, but more of a rejection of kind of top-down controlling stuff that says you have to depend on us. We decide who gets help. We decide who doesn't get help. And we've seen over and over again how that becomes a bad thing. That's a kind of control that people who are, against the government, that's exactly what they point to as this is not good. And they have a point. Now, does that mean that they should be listened to about everything else? Absolutely not. That just means that in isolation, that is a point that is good. Because it shouldn't be about, I understand about triage, it's a medical thing. You only have so many resources, you have to, but if you don't have as much limits on resources, more people can be helped. And that is what this is all about. This is about the local community kind of pooling resources to make everyone stronger. And this, and we talked in I've talked in previous episodes about our housing initiative, which we are pursuing. We have there are options out there, but also and we talked about food, growing your own food. I had like that little thing outside of the garden bed that I was kind of getting started out there, which is kind of and the little things like that kind of can help detach from the big network of stuff, make you a little bit less dependent on it, and give you a little bit more resources in the event of an emergency. That emergency doesn't have to be, a major disruption. It could be it could be a very local thing like, job loss or something like that, where you have a little bit of a buffer where maybe you don't have to, you still have leafy greens available, you still have something that you don't have to actually pay for, because you've already done the work, you've already done you've already paid for it, it's already paid for. And so you have something there that can help sustain you at least, or at least ease the burden a little bit. And easing the burden a little bit brings me to another point. There are people in the community who are really, and by the community, I don't mean in the GKC Resiliency Network. These are, we're about helping one another, but also helping others as well who really need it. And you have people who are going through a health crisis, or who are disabled and lost their caregiver or something, and sometimes they just need somebody to come in and do a little bit of tidying up, or maybe cleaning the toilet or something like that, something that we do for ourselves every week, doesn't take, probably doesn't take a lot of time, probably doesn't take a lot, but could mean the difference between somebody having to enter a skilled nursing facility because they can't afford assisted living, which is not paid for by Medicaid. It only pays for skilled nursing facilities, which is why we end up with so many people in nursing homes, because they have to, they literally, it's often the only way they can get help. I mean, Medicaid does have a home health, they have a benefit you can qualify for that says that they'll pay for somebody to come in and help you if it's through a service like Freedom Care or something like that. There's a half dozen of them around. They all get Medicaid dollars, and they keep money for themselves and pay you the rest of it, and they make sure that everything is compliant with Medicaid stuff and all that. But one of the things that you're locked into a schedule there. They may require 15 hours of care, but you only have 3 hours that you can help. Well, okay, so you don't get paid for it. That means you're volunteering. Oh my goodness, the V word, you have to actually do something without being compensated for it directly, or at least by Medicaid. But if the result is that somebody does not have to go into a skilled nursing facility, they may be able to afford rent and utilities and food and all that stuff on their own, but they may not be able to vacuum, they may not be able to sweep, they may not be able to clean their own toilet, they may not be able to go to the store and pick up groceries, and they may not be able to use an app on a smartphone because their eyesight is bad, their hands are bad, they can't do that they can't use all these high-tech things that a lot of us take for granted. Oh, well, you just order groceries online. If literally all they're able to do is dial pre-programmed numbers into their phone, they're not going to be using a delivery app. And there are a number of people like that, and they need help, and it doesn't take much. And so I challenge you, if you care about resiliency in the community, you have to be a member of the GKC Resiliency Network or anything like that. I challenge you, next time you find somebody who needs help running to the store or something, say yes, if you can. Yeah, sure. I got 40 minutes. I can. They may have everything already to be picked up at the grocery store. They just need somebody to run over, swipe a card, to pay for it, and bring the groceries back. Not a lot. That can mean a big difference, and might mean that the system is a little bit less overburdened, and that's a good thing, because there are people who need that level of the level of care that a skilled nursing facility can provide. But then there are others who put themselves into the situation where they need that kind of help so they can qualify, because they can't clean the floors themselves, or they can't get to the grocery store themselves, because they can't clean the toilet themselves, and they can't find anybody who is reliable to help them for 2-3 hours a week. And that is what sends them into a nursing home on a public dime. I'm not saying that the public dime is a bad thing, but when it is used as a when when that system is used for something like that, it's not good, and it doesn't reflect well on everybody around them that nobody's willing to spare 2 hours a week to help them out. Um, usually on flex time, they can be on your schedule, and it's and I meet people like that, and I help them out where I can. But something that is at the core of what resiliency means. Really, can't have a resilient community if people don't care, and not just that they don't care, but that they choose not to act on that care. They don't express it, except verbally, maybe, and it's a trying need. We did the concept of the nuclear family, and that you then each nuclear family moves around chasing careers from city to city. That's broken those bonds in a lot of ways, and it's left us at the mercy of other people who decide who gets help and who doesn't get help. And I don't know, I got neighbors. We talk. Neighbors don't look like me. They don't talk like me. Still people, just like me. Same concerns, same everything. They struggle a bit more because of language barriers or whatever. Don't matter. I'll help them out. They'll help me out. I have a problem working outside. Guy that I've had 2 good conversations with him, and he comes by and he has been mowing my lawn every other week for the past year, because he knows I have that I have strong allergies that take me out of commission if I mow my lawn. He heard that and he's like, oh, because he likes me, he mows my lawn, and I can mow my own lawn. It just means I have to get all bundled up, and I have to, mask and goggles and make sure I have no skin showing, or I'll be missing work the next day or something. And so I benefit from that. I didn't need a GKC Resiliency network to get that. But that's the kind of thing that is very unusual, at least in my experience, but should be common, should be a natural thing. And once again, I look into why is it that other people don't have what seems to be easy for me to get. Say, oh, well, you cared enough to have conversations with someone that's, lives 2 doors down, so you reap the benefits of that. Have that conversation. Maybe you could be the one helping someone else, because what's easy for you can be very difficult for them, and things that they find very easy might be very difficult for you. That's what being neighborly means. I gotta go. I have run way over my time. Take care. Take care of yourself. Take care of one another. Find somebody to help this week. You have a great day.